Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. I'm Snow, and in today's video, let's continue my build series with Team Meteor. This is one of the more interesting character designs because it's really three characters in one, but they do function like a single character. Team Meteor's playstyle places emphasis on self-sustain through shields, knocking back enemies, and contributing single target damage. So in this video, let's go over their skill build as well as their skill and equipment setups. So their trait skill is called Indomitable Will of the Shooting Star, also called Will of Meteor. And this is not an overly complicated trait skill. They do have a special mechanic called Fat Storage, and for each stack of Fat Storage, it provides a physical shield and magic shield equal to 10% of their HP. And this can stack up to 10 times. Also, when either shield type is broken, it removes all stacks. The shield you get from Fat Storage is only applied to Team Meteor, and HP is going to be a really important part for how strong the shield is going to be. So for their first part of their trait skill, after you perform a non-instant active attack, they'll gain 3 stacks of Fat Storage for 2 turns. The number of stacks they get increases as you star level them up. So at base star level it's 1 stack, at 3 stars it's 2 stacks, and it gets to the maximum of 3 stacks at 5 stars. They also gain stacks at the start of battle. So it starts off at 2 stacks at base star level and increases all the way to the maximum of 6 stacks at 5 stars. So every time you star level them up, they'll get an additional stack of Fat Storage at the start of battle. Their trait skill also gives them increases to attack, defense, and HP. At base star level, it starts off at 5%, it increases to 10% at 2 stars, and it reaches the maximum of 15% at 4 stars. And for the last part of their trait skill, they start getting this part at 3 stars. So after actively dispelling Fat Storage, they'll gain 3 stacks for 2 turns and recover 1 energy. Now at 3 stars, they'll only gain 1 stack. At 4 stars, it increases to 2 stacks. And at 5 stars, you'll gain 3 stacks of Fat Storage and recover 1 energy. So star level does impact their trait skill quite a bit, especially in terms of the amount of Fat Storage stacks that they're gaining. They also start with a skill called Righteous Hammer of Unity. This is a single target physical attack that deals 130% damage and knocks the target back by 1 tile. After they attack, they also gain 2 stacks of Fat Storage for 2 turns. This isn't a bad skill to start off with. It does allow them to get Fat Storage back, but they have much better skills on their skill tree. So at rank 1, you have a damage skill and a support skill. The first skill is called Righteous Lightning Ambush, and this is a physical attack that's an instant skill where you select one enemy within a cross-shaped range of the character, and it performs a charge attack dealing 30% damage, and it also knocks the target back 1 tile. Because this is an instant skill, it's not going to trigger the trait skill to get the Fat Storage stacks, so it won't help you get Fat Storage stacks. It also has a long cooldown of 3. They have better options to use as a damage dealing skill. Their other option at rank 1 is called Battlefield Snack of Morale. This is an instant support technique that's a single target healing skill. This recovers 25% of the target's HP. If Team Meteor uses this skill on themselves, they'll also gain damage reduction 3, which decreases the damage taken by 30%, and this will last for 3 turns. However, when the skill is used on an ally, it will dispel all Fat Storage from Team Meteor, and it will be transferred to the target. Basically, Team Meteor's shield will be transferred to the target. So in addition to healing your target ally, they'll also get a shield, and the strength of the shield will be based on the number of Fat Storage stacks that get transferred from Team Meteor to the target. So this is a really good support skill that gives a good combination of both damage mitigation and healing. So it's recommended to pick up this skill at rank 1. At rank 3, we have a passive and a support skill. First, we have a support skill called Flash of Brilliant Wisdom. This is an instant skill, where Team Meteor gains 4 stacks of Fat Storage, as well as a crit and crit damage buff. So they'll get a 30% increase to both crit rate and crit damage. And those buffs last for 2 turns. This is a really great support skill for Team Meteor in terms of getting Fat Storage stacks instantly, and for increasing their damage output. If you have Castalias available, this is not a bad skill to pick up. The other option at rank 3 is one of our most important skills. This is a passive skill called Cooperation Division of Labor, and this gives an attack and defense increase of 10% when having fat storage. It also increases the maximum range of range skills and movement by 1 tile. And if you have 5 stacks of storage, all effects will be doubled. So you're going to get a 20% increase to defense and attack, and the range of skills and movement will be increased by 2 tiles. This is one of their most important skills, and it's a passive that you'll want to carry in one of the skill slots. This just provides them with a lot of benefits, so it's recommended to pick up this skill at rank 3. At rank 5, we have the reaction skills. First, we have front defense. And with this reaction skill, when they're hit by an active attack from the front, the damage taken is decreased by 30%. This is a very straightforward reaction skill, and it's nice for damage mitigation, but you do have to be hit from the front, so you won't get the damage reduction if you're hit from the side or back. So this reaction skill does have limitations. Their other reaction skill is called Comfortable Fat Reserve. And with this reaction skill, they gain bound immunity if they're in an unharmed state. In other words, when their HP is at 100%. In addition, if Team Meteor is at 100% HP at the end of the turn, they'll gain 1 stack of fat storage, and that will last for 2 turns. This is another great way for Team Meteor to passively stack fat storage, in addition to the skills and passives that they're using. This does also have limitations because you do need to be unharmed, but being able to stack fat storage is really important, and there's lots of other ways to keep their HP capped off, through other character skills, healing, etc. So it is recommended to pick up this reaction skill at rank 5. At rank 7, we have 2 damage dealing skills, and both are important. The first skill is called Stylish Confident Strike, and this is a magic damage dealing skill, where you select one enemy within a cross-shaped range, and it deals magical damage equal to 150% of physical attack. This skill's crit rate is also increased by 40% when Team Meteor has 2 stacks of fat storage. That also increases the maximum range of this skill by 2 tiles when they have 4 stacks of fat storage. If Team Meteor has 6 stacks of fat storage, they'll also gain a buff called Armor Piercing, and this will allow them to ignore 40% of the target's defense when they're attacking the enemy. So after you use this attack, all of the corresponding fat storage stacks that were used are removed. The skill is great because it's a long-range skill. It's also a magic damage dealing skill and has a lower cost than her other premium damage dealing skill, which we're going to go over next. This is called Victory Meteor Piercing the Sky. And this is a physical attack where you select one enemy within a cross-shaped range, and they'll perform a charge attack and deal 160% damage. The enemy will also be knocked back 2 tiles, and then all of the fat storage on Team Meteor will be dispelled. If a collision occurs after knockback, the characters involved in the collision will become stunned for 1 turn. Basically, you can use this skill to hit an enemy into another enemy, they'll both take damage, and they'll both get stunned. They actually have a passive that we'll go over in a bit that increases knockback damage, including the damage taken by collisions. The damage by Victory Meteor is also increased for each stack of fat storage Team Meteor has. So this skill will get a 5% increase for each stack of fat storage they have, and the maximum range and knockback distance is increased by 1 tile. So this is a very powerful skill. It also stuns the enemy, and you get that increased range for the skill, depending upon how many fat storage stacks you have. Getting both of these damage dealing skills at rank 7 offers a lot of flexibility for how you can build Team Meteor depending on the situation, especially since one deals physical damage and the other one deals magical damage. So it is recommended to pick up both of these skills at rank 7, but if you're short on Castalias, pick up Victory Meteor. At rank 9 are the basic attacks. The first option is called Armor Piercing Strike, and this deals 100% physical damage and inflicts both physical defense and magic defense down, so the target has both of those decreased by 20%, and that will last for 2 turns. Their other option for a basic attack is called Hot Grilled Meat Impact, and with this skill, you'll select one enemy within a cross-shaped range, and they'll perform a charge attack, dealing 100% physical damage, and knocking the target back by 1 tile. This is a really great basic attack because, like I said before, They have a passive that will increase the damage that this basic attack does, so it's recommended to pick up this basic attack over the other one because this functions very well with the passive we're going to go over next. At rank 11, the passive skill is really important, and the damage skill is just optional. This skill is called Fair Duel of Many Against Few. This is a single target physical attack that deals 180% damage, and before attacking, it dispels all debuffs on the character and all buffs on the target. If they have 10 stacks of fat storage, this skill will dispel all stacks, and they'll gain damage reduction 4, which decreases the damage taken by 90%. And that buff will last for 1 turn. If fat storage is less than 10 stacks, it resets the skill cooldown, which is really nice because this skill has a very long cooldown of 6. So being able to reset the cooldown with less than 10 stacks, which is quite doable considering their skill kit. Their other skill is a passive called Remarkable Tonnage Worth Boasting. And with this skill, after casting a non-instant active attack on the target with knockback immunity, it deals an additional 70% physical damage. And when they knock back targets, it increases the knockback distance by 1 tile. And if a collision occurs, it deals an additional 70% physical damage to colliding enemies. This passive synergizes so well with their other skills, so you really want to pick this up at rank 11. The damage skill is optional to pick up, but you definitely want to pick up the passive skill at rank 11. So their skill setup will look something like this. You'll have hot grilled meat for their basic attack. You'll have comfortable fat reserve for the reaction skill. And for their skill slots, there's a couple of setups that you can do. There's 2 primary ones. They both use Cooperation Division of Labor. That's that passive that allows you to increase your attack and defense, as well as the maximum range of their skills and their movement. This is going to pair well with any of their damage dealing skills. So with this first setup, you're pairing their ultimate skill Victory Meteor with that passive that increases the damage from knockback. So this setup is going to help you get the most out of using their ultimate skill. For the second setup, you're pairing Stylish Confident Strike, which is another one of their premium damage dealing skills, with that support skill Flash of Brilliance, which is that support skill that's an instant skill that increases their crit and crit damage. So you can use this skill and then combo it into that magic damage dealing skill. Basically, you can combo these 2 skills together to increase their burst damage. Obviously, you can mix and match the skills however you'd like, and depending on the situation. Obviously, if you need magic damage, Stylish Confident Strike is better. If you need physical damage, something like Victory Meteor, their ultimate skill, is going to be better for that situation. So for their equipment, they have a special weapon called Barbecue Hammer. This will give a physical attack increase, and you get an additional physical attack increase if the target's 3 tiles or more away. But this is at 5 stars. This weapon really is only okay at 5 stars, because at base star level, the target has to be 5 or more tiles away to get the additional physical attack increase. And of course, as a special weapon, it's going to be harder to get. Their best free-to-play option is Feast Axe. This will give an attack increase when their HP is higher than the target's. They'll also recover HP when defeating an enemy. This is a great option because you're building Team Meteor for HP anyway, since their shield strength is based on their HP. So this is a great option because it gives them an attack boost and access to lifesteal. For their trinket, their best option is Shield of Justice. This gives an attack and defense increase when they have a physical shield, which they'll have because each stack of fat storage gives them both a magic and physical shield equal to 10% of their HP for each stack of fat storage. So even with just 1 stack of fat storage, they'll have a physical shield, so they'll get the attack and defense boost from this trinket. You can also use something like Origin Hourglass. This will give them an increase to physical and magic attack. It also grants them some immunities to movement and speed. For the engravings, you can use something like Sword and Wand. This is going to give an attack and defense increase for every tile transverse, and you will be moving around quite a bit with Team Meteor, so this will help them out quite a bit. You can also use something like Sword and Cup. This gives an increase to attack when actively attacking, so this will increase their damage by 5% and grants them 15% lifesteal. This can help them maintain the unharmed requirement of their reaction skill, which helps them gain those stacks of fat storage and bound immunity. And for their Whisper, Fool's Naivety is a really great option. This gives an HP increase which is going to help out with the strength of their shields, and it also gives a damage increase. So this is a perfect option for them. Team Meteor is a powerful single-target damage-dealing character that excels at knockback. Their unique mechanic, Fat Storage, grants them access to a combination of magic and physical shields for self-sustain. They also provide some support to their allies through healing and the ability to transfer their shields to allies. Star level does impact Team Meteor's power, especially with respect to their ability to gain Fat Storage stacks. They should really be 3 stars or more to have access to most of the benefits provided through their trait skill. Team Meteor is a strong single-target damage-dealing character with great self-sustain, and they definitely have one of the more unique character designs in the game, so they're worth considering building if you get them. Thank you so much for watching, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Bye.